This month marks 67 years since back-to-back hurricanes, Connie, then Diane, ravaged the East Coast, killing hundreds of people, dozens here in the Poconos. Known as the Great Flood of '55, communities along the Delaware River and any waterway were hit especially hard. Roads, bridges, houses, and vehicles all swept away. And now, on the 67th anniversary of that historic event, you're about to hear from a family who survived it. Their miraculous story unfolded just down this road at a place where you'll see Mother Nature at her very best and worst. This is Bob Beatty's escape from everyday life, his home away from home.
The neat thing about being at the foot of the mountain is that it's very deep. The water is very deep here. It doesn't matter the time of year. So there's plenty of fishing, plenty of swimming.
He's the third-generation owner of this log cabin near East Stroudsburg and its private backyard along the Bushkill Creek. Bob's grandmother bought the property in 1952 as a summer home. And for the last 70 years, family and friends from near and far have come here for a relaxing getaway in the Pocono Mountains.
We've been able to build memories here for generation after generation. I can look around here and see things that are slightly different than they were when I grew up, and yet in a lot of cases, very much the same.
But the kind of memories this creek holds, well, it all depends who you ask.
You can still see I'm standing in water up above my ankles.
The Painter family, friends of Bob's grandmother, vacationed at the cabin in August of 1955. Now in his late 90s, Hervey Painter remembers turning on the radio during that trip for some rainy day entertainment while playing cards.
They said there's a flood in the Poconos. And we didn't know anything about it. And we sort of perked up a bit and looked out, and the water was probably up to the doorstep.
As day turned to night, water swallowed up the first, then second floor. The Painters grabbed a watermelon from the floating fridge and tore off a door to use as a raft. All 8 crawled out this window and up to the roof, where they waited and prayed for 2 days.
First, we could see pieces of houses floating by, and a lot of propane gas tanks floating by, and some of them had a valve open, I guess, because every time they come up out of the water, they make a big hissing sound. And then the waves were fast. The waves were probably 4 or 5 feet high. The other house.
Musselman's.
Renee was just 5 when she and her 3-year-old sister were up on that roof. Years later, she recorded her memories in a journal.
We tried making SOS signals on the roof out of Venetian blinds. We took off the cabin's windows. We took Venetian blinds down because we saw a helicopter, but we didn't succeed in getting anyone's attention.
Eventually, the water receded and the Painters returned home, without belongings, but with their lives. At one point, Hervey's brother even hitched a ride back to Pottstown, Pennsylvania in a hearse. And back at the cabin, the damage left behind was massive.
We had 3 cars there, and we have photographs here to show they got all smashed up against the trees and so forth. And my brother Bruce had a brand new, he was just a teenager, he had a brand new Buick convertible. That was the prize of his life. He got all smashed up.
Remarkably, this was the only cabin within the immediate area that stayed intact. This fireplace is all that remains of the neighboring cabin, which has since been rebuilt using the original logs. Today, Bob continuously monitors the water levels. He has made minor updates to the cabin recently, adding modern comforts in the kitchen and living room. The family is even creating an educational book about the cabin, so visiting relatives and friends will always know its history.
It's sort of part of the fabric of what the cabin is, what it's been, and what it will always be in some ways.
While time stands still here, the creek does not. A peaceful yet powerful force, bringing people together for generations to come. For the Pocono Television Network, I'm Brianna Strunk. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the Pocono Tourism YouTube channel and click the bell button below to be the first to watch new videos. You can also click the link on the screen to watch more episodes of Pocono Mountains Magazine.